My name is Fred Beck, and I'd like to tell you about the historic encounter I had with some mysterious creatures. It was 1924. I and 4 other miners were working our gold claim, the Vander White. We had been prospecting for 6 years in the Mount St. Helens and Lewis River area in southwest Washington. It was in the middle of July, and we had received a good assay on our claim, and everyone was excited. We had, from time to time, come across large tracks by creek beds and springs. We were always a little apprehensive after seeing the tracks. The tracks were large, and we knew that no known animal could have made them. The largest measured 19 inches long. We had also been hearing noises in the evening for about a week. We heard a shrill, peculiar whistling each evening. We would hear it coming from one ridge, and then hear an answering whistling from another ridge. We also heard a sound which I could best describe as a booming, thumping sound, just like a gorilla hitting itself on its chest. One of the other miners, Hank, asked me to accompany him to the spring about 100 yards from our cabin to get some water, and suggested we take our rifles to be on the safe side. We walked to the spring, and then Hank yelled and raised his rifle, and at that instant I saw it. It was a hairy creature, and he was about 100 yards away, on the other side of a little canyon, standing by a pine tree. It dodged behind the tree and poked its head out from the side of the tree. At the same time Hank shot, and I could see the bark fly out from the tree from each of his 3 shots. The creature I judged to have been about 7 feet tall with blackish-brown hair. It disappeared from our view for a short time, but then we saw it, running fast and upright, about 200 yards down the little canyon. I shot 3 times before it disappeared from view. We took the water back to the cabin and explained the affair to the rest of the party, and we all agreed to go home the next morning as it would be dark before we could get to the car. We all agreed it would be unsound to be caught by darkness on the way out. Each of us settled down in his crude but welcomed bed, and soon fell asleep. About midnight, we were all awakened by a tremendous thud against the cabin wall. Some of the chinking had been knocked loose from between the logs and had fell across Hank's chest. He had his rifle in his hand and was waving it back and forth as he kicked and then yelled. I helped to get the chinking off him, and he jumped to his feet. Then we heard a great commotion outside. It sounded like a great number of feet trampling and rattling over a pile of our unused shakes. We grabbed our guns and squinted through the space left by the chinking. By actual count, we saw only 3 of the creatures together at one time, but it sounded like there were many more. The only time we shot our guns that night was when the creatures were attacking our cabin. When they would quiet down for a few minutes, we would quit shooting. We did shoot, however, when they climbed up on the roof. We had to brace the hewed logged door with a long pole taken from the bunk bed. The creatures were pushing against it, and the whole door vibrated from the impact. We responded by firing many more rounds through the door. They pushed against the walls of the cabin, as if trying to push the cabin over, but this was pretty much an impossibility. The attack continued the remainder of the night, with only short intervals between. A most profound and frightening experience occurred when one of the creatures, being close to the cabin, reached an arm through the chinking space and seized one of our axes by the handle. Before the thing could pull the axe out, I swiftly turned the head of the axe upright so that it caught on the logs. The creature let go. I pulled the handle back in and put the axe in a safe place. The attack ended just before daylight. Just as soon as we were sure it was light enough to see, we came cautiously out of the cabin. It was not long before I saw one of the ape-like creatures standing about 80 yards away near the edge of Ape Canyon. I shot 3 times and it toppled over the cliff, down into the gorge some 400 feet below. Then Hank said that we should get out of there as soon as possible and not bother to pack our supplies or equipment. After all, he said, it's better to lose them than lose our lives. We were all only too glad to agree. We brought out only that which we could get in our pack sacks. We left about $200 in supplies, powder, and drilling equipment behind. Truth often is stranger than fiction, but the strangeness comes from the clouds surrounding our minds, not from the mystery itself. Fred Beck, Washington, 1924.
Thanks for watching the Cryptid Files, where mysteries come alive and legends are explored. Check out some of our other videos and venture into the heart of the unknown as we unravel the enigma of Bigfoot and other elusive creatures that have captivated the world's imagination. From ancient myths to modern-day encounters, our channel is your gateway to the uncharted territories of cryptozoology. Join our community of explorers, believers, and skeptics alike. Subscribe now and become part of the journey. The Cryptid Files, where every mystery has a story and every story takes us deeper into the wild. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and let the adventure begin.